Haymitch Abernathy wakes up on the morning of his 16th birthday with a brutal hangover. He lives in District 12, the poorest of Panem, where birthdays come with no cake, no celebration, and certainly no real gifts. His mother tosses him a small bar of chocolate, a gesture that, in other contexts, might be sweet. But here is a bitter reminder of how little they have. Today is also the day of the reaping, when tributes are selected to fight to the death in the Hunger Games. He tries to act indifferent, but Haymitch knows the odds. His name is in the bowl far too many times, entered again and again in exchange for tesserae extra rations of food and oil for his family. He knows the risks. Still, he walks to the square with his usual defiant air. In the square, the atmosphere is heavy. The standard Capitol video plays, recounting the dark days, the failed rebellion, and the origin of the Hunger Games as punishment and reminder. Then the mayor gives his speech, and the Capitol escort steps forward, all glitter and forced enthusiasm. First, the name of the female tribute is drawn, Maysa Donner. She's from a slightly better-off family in District 12 and carries herself with a composed, determined look. Then the male tribute is called Haymitch Abernathy. For a moment, everything stops. Silence descends as he walks to the stage. His life changes in an instant. Once a sarcastic, rebellious boy, now he's a tribute, a pawn in the Capitol's bloody spectacle. Inside the Justice Building, Haymitch has a few minutes to say goodbye. His mother barely looks at him. His younger brother hugs him tightly, holding back tears. Haymitch doesn't cry. He's used to holding things in. Then, unexpectedly, Maysa Donner visits him. She offers a simple, honest word of encouragement. They're not friends, but there's mutual respect now. They know what lies ahead. They board the Capitol train, a luxury they've never known. There are soft beds, endless food, and running water. But none of it matters. They're on their way to the arena. Their mentor, a former victor from District 12, is worn down and hollow. She offers no real guidance, just tells them to die with dignity. When they arrive at the Capitol, Haymitch is stunned by the buildings, the lights, the absurd fashion, the surgically altered citizens. It's another world entirely. He and Maysa are cleaned, trimmed, scrubbed, and styled by Capitol prep teams. They become polished versions of themselves. His stylist goes for an edgy, rebellious look that enhances his dark eyes. During the tribute parade, they ride through the Capitol in themed chariots. The crowd roars. Haymitch stays serious and calm, his gaze hard and unflinching. That alone makes him stand out. Maysa is elegant, poised. Together they draw attention. Sponsors begin to notice. Next comes training. The tributes have several days to practice combat skills and assess each other. Haymitch watches more than he acts. He studies the career tributes, those from Districts 1 and 2, trained from birth. They're dangerous but predictable. He tries out weapons but doesn't draw too much attention. During his private session with the game makers, Haymitch doesn't perform with brute strength. Instead, he uses precision. He throws a knife that cuts a rope, dropping a sandbag on a dummy. Then he walks out silently. The game makers are intrigued. He's not a showman, but he's dangerous. In the interview with Caesar Flickerman, Haymitch speaks with dry sarcasm and confidence. He doesn't beg for help. He doesn't try to be charming. But that in itself makes him stand out. Maysa is cold and focused. Both of them make an impression. Finally, the day of the games arrives. Haymitch is taken to a prep room, sealed off from the world. He stands alone in the launch tube, staring upward. When the platform rises, he finds himself in a mountainous arena, with cold weather, thin fog, and rocky terrain. In the center stands the cornucopia, filled with weapons and supplies. He has 60 seconds to decide. When the gong sounds, he dashes toward a medium-sized backpack and a dagger. Another tribute lunges at him, but Haymitch dodges and flees into the forest. He knows the bloodbath at the cornucopia kills most tributes on the first day. His first mission: survive. In the days that follow, Haymitch keeps to himself. He drinks from filtered streams, eats wild roots, and builds crude traps. He watches other tributes form alliances. Every night cannon blasts signal deaths, and the dead's faces are projected into the sky. He sees children die. He hears screaming. Lee survives and he spots her at a distance a few times. They don't speak. They don't need to. The unspoken agreement is, not yet. The capital changes the arena as the days go by: acid rain, cold snaps, and traps. Once, a toxic fog burns a section of the forest. Haymitch shelters in a crevice, safe by chance. Another tribute isn't so lucky he melts alive in agonizing screams. At one point, Haymitch is chased by a tribute wielding an axe. He runs toward a cliff and jumps seemingly to his death. But instead of falling, he bounces off an invisible force field that surrounds the edge of the arena. His pursuer crashes headfirst and is killed instantly. Haymitch survives with only minor injuries. He has discovered something powerful. The arena itself can be used as a weapon. From that point on, Haymitch changes tactics. He stops hiding and starts manipulating the environment. He poisons a water source to drive others away. He sets decoys and fake noises to mislead alliances. He doesn't fight head-on. He controls. He plans. More tributes fall. The capital demands drama, blood, spectacle. Haymitch gives them something more dangerous: strategy. And Panem watches. Haymitch is no longer just a tribute. He's discovered that the arena's invisible force field can be used to his advantage, and that changes everything. While others fight or hide, he begins playing with the rules, turning the arena into a weapon. He studies the terrain, watches the capital's patterns, and adapts quickly. He knows they're watching him, but instead of fearing it, he uses it. In the days that follow, the number of tributes keeps dropping. Nights grow colder, food becomes scarcer, and the arena begins to shrink, pushing tributes closer together. The capital wants action. They ignite fires, cause landslides, and dry up water sources to force conflict. Haymitch, having memorized the terrain, moves with more ease than anyone. One night he hears screams nearby. He cautiously approaches and finds Lee fighting off two tributes. He hesitates but decides to intervene, throwing a rock to distract one of them, giving Lee the upper hand. The second tribute flees. Exhausted and bloody, they sit side by side. No plans, no promises, just the shared realization that it's better not to be alone. For the next few days, they stay together. Lee is sharp, with knowledge of plants and poisons. She wields needles as weapons. Haymitch brings logic and cunning. They don't talk much, but they don't have to. They understand each other. Then, the capital unleashes a new horror: mechanical birds that mimic human voices. They cry out in familiar tones, phrases spoken by loved ones. Lee hears her mother. Haymitch hears his brother. The birds are designed to disorient and emotionally shatter the tributes. Together, they flee, finally finding shelter in a cave and sealing the entrance. By morning, only 5 tributes remain: a girl from District 1, a massive boy from District 2, 1 wounded tribute from District 9, and the 2 of them. They don't even discuss it. Lee and Haymitch decide to part ways. There's an unspoken understanding. "Don't die for something stupid," she says. He nods and leaves. Later, Haymitch finds the District 9 boy already dead by the river. Someone else got there first. That night, the faces of the remaining tributes are projected into the sky. Just 4 remain: Haymitch, Lee, and the career tributes. The tension in Panem skyrockets. Sponsors bet heavily. The capital tightens its grip. The terrain begins to quake. Trees fall, cliffs crumble. The capital is forcing a final confrontation near the cornucopia. Haymitch climbs to a rocky overlook and watches as the girl from District 1 dies in one of Lee's traps, impaled by a hidden spear triggered by a tripwire. That leaves 3. Hours later, Haymitch hears a cry. He rushes toward the sound and finds Lee slumped against a tree, pale and dying. A bird pierced her throat. There's nothing he can do. She looks up at him, smiles faintly, says his name, and thanks him for the alliance, for everything. Then she dies. He doesn't have time to mourn. The boy from District 2 is still alive and hunting. The final confrontation happens the next day. Haymitch lures him toward the force field. He fakes an injury. When the boy charges, Haymitch rolls away just in time. The career tribute slams into the force field and is flung backward, dead on impact. Strategy beats strength. The arena goes silent. Then the announcement echoes through the air. Haymitch Abernathy, victor of the second quarter Quell. An airship retrieves him. He doesn't cheer. He doesn't smile. He just stares at the sky. His body is healed, cleaned, and dressed. He is crowned victor and paraded through the capital. But Haymitch doesn't feel like a hero. After the games, he begins to understand the true cruelty of the capital. The games don't end with survival, they just take a new shape. Interviews, photo ops, forced speeches. When he deviates from his script during the victory tour, they send a message. One day he receives a box. Inside is the body of a capital girl who had sent him medicine in the arena, executed for helping him. The capital shows him. No one disobeys without consequences. So Haymitch begins drinking, first in secret, then openly. The alcohol silences the screams, drowns the memories, dulls the guilt. He's alive, but he's not whole. The capital won again. Even in his victory,